it's headed to sell real estate plan. You know what's incredible? I was actually approached, and I think, oh my gosh, I just remembered. I was approached by a successful businessman in Dallas about a month ago, actually, for this plan. I think Beck must have, I know he was talking to Beck, and Beck, I even know where it is. Oh my gosh. See, I didn't even know about this. You started talking about it. I've been out of town for 3 days, 4 days, and I went and looked it up, and sure enough, he's announcing it. He's not saying where. I know where the idea came from. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. It's a shopping mall that's gone bankrupt outside Dallas. That's breaking news right there. At least I know Beck is looking at it. Oh my gosh, can you imagine going and living in a shut down shopping mall that has shops? That then they're going to have stuff built around it where everybody moves, which wouldn't be a bad idea if it was his own incorporated city. And I guess that's the plan. Wow, I know Glenn Beck's plan, unless I'm wrong, because I was called by another businessman who I know in the DFW area, and he was telling me he was getting together with other talk show hosts, and that he'd recently met with Glenn Beck.
Well, I understand that he's raised $2 billion for this project. So, it's a very well-funded real estate project. They're going to live a libertarian dream. And as we were saying, there's libertarianism and then there's fake libertarianism.
Hold on, we got to do one more segment. Can you do it?
Yeah, whatever, man.
Yeah, because I want to talk about this. Peter Thiel, the Bilderberg guy. Glenn Beck now says he is the leader of the libertarians, while Ron Paul supporters, he said, need to have the army used on them. So that doesn't sound too libertarian to me. Max, for those just joining us, I don't want to sit here just for the sake of it and bash Glenn Beck. And you mentioned Glenn Beck says he has $2 billion and is going to build a libertarian utopia. I know he's been looking at land outside Austin because I talked to one of the people involved. Let's leave it at that. And I was horrified by it. Then it was actually Dallas that he moved to. And then I got a call by a nice businessman I know who's a patriot. And he said that, hey, you know, there's this shopping mall that's bankrupted. We can make it all guns, patriot stuff, survival stuff, and then maybe have a community around that because the worst real estate is North Dallas, you know, in Texas. It's just plunging. That's the worst area in Texas, overall good state. And it may not be the same deal, but I know this guy's met with Glenn Beck because he told me about that, too. And I've got a sneaking suspicion that's where he got the idea, because Beck doesn't ever have his own ideas. It's always somebody else's. I'm going to make a phone call after the show today. But it's the idea of Peter Thiel, the big Bilderberg guy, Thiel or Thiel? I always get it wrong. Yep. Say it again?
Thiel.
Yeah, that mic's so bad, I can't understand a word coming out of it. Hold on. Thiel, yeah. TH, yeah. You know, that Bilderberg guy is the one, you know, pushing this. But again, they bankrupt things, then make themselves exempt from the very taxes, and then go live in these command bases. That's what the globalists have said is their model. So I guess Glenn Beck's just trying to copy that. Now, I've been ranting. Go ahead, Max Keiser.
Well, first of all, he's a carpetbagger. Who wants this Yankee down in Austin, Texas? I mean, don't you Texans have more self-respect than this? I mean, you got to run this guy out of town. Shouldn't there be, I mean, y'all got the guns, y'all got the manpower. Why are you letting this carpetbagger come down to Austin, Texas and set up his libertarian utopian paradise, which is nothing but a scam, media scam, in your backyard? That's an insult. Alex?
I'm just speechless here. It's just things are getting so dystopic.
It's an insult. How dare he go move into the holy land of Austin, Texas? You know, it's not going to be weird anymore. Instead of saying, keep it weird, Austin, Texas, it's going to be like, welcome to Glenn Beckville, where everybody is boring media jack idiot. You know, he's really lowered the value of that town tremendously if you let this carpetbagger into town. And can't you do something? You got listeners down there. Isn't there something you can do, Alex? We need you to stop this from happening.
Well, I don't know if he's moving to Austin. I know he was looking at stuff here and pieces of land and stuff. All I know is that I found out from people that worked in and around him that indeed he did focus on everything we did, had people watching it. And when we see, he takes what we do and then spins it, and then he kind of just walks around in these weird, you know, blue jeans and a little nerd outfit, all creepy and weird. And a lot of his followers are good people, but a big contingent of them are like into the wimpiness and into the whole, and then he always sabotages libertarians at key points. So I feel like he's on my six, and it just is creepy knowing what I know about him, that he is constantly worried about what I'm up to, and I just don't know what to say about it.
You know, his whole career is based on a bad imitation of Alex Jones. I mean, before Glenn Beck came on Fox News, I mean, there was Alex Jones, and you know, you brought to the media world somebody who wore their heart on their sleeve in a very obvious way. And then Glenn Beck did this on Fox News, where he would well up and get very emotional over things, and he's basically doing an Alex Jones impression. So, but he would not cover the stories that Alex Jones covers because, of course, he doesn't want to upset Fox News and his media masters, and he's parlayed that into this new $2 billion fandango down in Austin, Texas, is what I'm hearing, where he's going to build this utopian version of what I call fake libertarianism, which means fake libertarianism means he'll say, well, I'm going to borrow $2 billion at 0% interest rate, and if this works, I'm going to keep all the profits, and if it goes bust, then everyone in Texas is going to have to absorb the losses. And you say, well, why do you get to borrow $2 billion at 0%? He'll say, oh, I'm a libertarian. That's not what libertarianism is.
He supported the banker bailout.
Well, yeah, that's not libertarianism. That's not even capitalism. That's outright fascism. He's a fascist. You know, he accuses you of being a fascist, and yet he's the guy engaged in a $2 billion fascist enterprise combining the banksters with land speculators in Austin. That's fascism. He's right there in your neighborhood.
Well, he's looking at Austin. He's also looking at the North Dallas suburbs area, where it's probably...
If you were so concerned, he should check out Libya or Mali. Why doesn't Glenn Beck go there to build his libertarian paradise? That's where it's needed. You know, if he really believes in the power of capitalism and libertarianism, why doesn't he go to Mali and show the people there what Glenn Beck can do?
But let's elaborate on this. Let's elaborate on this. We've actually done news reports on this. We cover it in Endgame. People think of globalism as getting rid of countries. They actually break countries into smaller pieces to control them. They create regions like London or the Vatican that are outside of law and can do whatever they want. Israel's a similar thing. They build their own zones, and that's what they're actually saying, Peter Thiel and others, is that they're going to establish this. It's just amazing that we're actually, like you said, we're going back to feudalism.
It is going back to feudalism, and I have been saying that for a few years, neo-feudalism. But this Peter Thiel character, of course, he made his money with PayPal. And PayPal, of course, was, along with Visa and MasterCard, shutting down WikiLeaks when it became, and they also are extrajudiciously shutting people down that they don't want them to get their views, like, you know, with copyright and other issues. They just shut them down. And that's where Peter Thiel comes from. So he made his bones engaging with the banksters directly through PayPal. That's where he comes from. So now he's going to take that experience, and he's with the Bilderberg Group now. He's with these folks, and they're meeting, and they're doing their deals where they're going to try to create these little cul-de-sacs, these little Disney-esque fantasy worlds where they're going to be surrounded by an army. You've got media ideologues like Glenn Beck at the center, and within 5 or 6 years, all the children are going to look like Glenn Beck, but they'll all be inbreeding, so some will have 3 arms. And 2.
All right, that's enough. I don't want to get into a Beck bashing fest. It's just that, you know, it's just incredible, and he is out to get me. And you notice I'm not out to get Rush Limbaugh. I'm not out to get Michael Savage. I don't talk about what's the other one's name. I don't listen to it. What's his name? The guy on Fox News, Sean Hannity.
Yeah, Bill O'Reilly?
Yeah.
Hannity, yeah.
The point is they're not after me. So I'm not talking about him. It's Glenn Beck is always, look how he moved up the road from me. I mean, it's like.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, I need to get this guy out of my life. He's super creepy.
Well, he's a stalker. He's stalking you. So, I mean, you know, you got to deal with it. In some way, there's got to be enough people in Austin that support Alex Jones to do whatever needs to be done to keep Glenn Beck out. I mean,
stop it. He'll take that as a serious thing. No, if he wants to buy property and do something and become a libertarian, that's great. In fact, I want to think that he's becoming a better guy. The problem is he's still you know, really making stuff up about us. I mean, I'm not a fascist, folks. I'm a wild liberal in the Thomas Jefferson vein. None of these names mean anything. I'm called a right-winger today because I oppose Obama. I am a true constitutionalist. Max, I'd like to believe you're the same thing. I mean, a classical liberal, right?
I'm actually a closet Texan.
Well, you lived in France, you lived in New York, you lived everywhere, and now you've moved to London to cover that. Maybe when it all collapses, you and I will both move into Glenn Beck's neighborhood. He won't be able to stop us. We'll buy a cult compound right next door to him. He can't say no, he's a libertarian. Maybe we start...
Alamo. Remember the Alamo.
Visit Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. When you're on the site, you can also tune in 24 hours a day to my daily radio broadcast. There's also a free iPhone app to listen to the syndicated radio show when and where you want.